Your Denver Broncos just delivered a triple shot of incredible news, right after a statement victory that's shaking up the entire NFL. What Sean Payton and this team just pulled off wasn't luck, it was dominance, precision, and pride. And when you rewatch those highlights, you realize this win was even bigger than it looked the first time. The Broncos didn't just win, they made a statement to the whole league: Denver is for real. Before we go any deeper, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. And of course, hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Alright, now, let's talk about what just happened. The Broncos walked into Philadelphia, one of the most brutal, high-pressure environments in the entire NFL, and they didn't just survive, they out-eagled the Eagles. Think about that. The last time Denver won there, it was 1986, decades ago. But this new era under Sean Payton and Bo Nix just changed everything. Bo Nix went into that hostile stadium and came out with a massive statement win. People doubted Denver all week, said they couldn't beat a true contender. Well, they didn't just beat one. They dominated a Super Bowl champion team that had won 12 straight games at home, taking down quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford, and Baker Mayfield along the way. Yet, the Broncos went in there and shut all of that down. And here's the wild part: this game could have been an even bigger blowout than it already was. But make no mistake, this was a defining moment. A real statement win for Sean Payton's Broncos. When Payton said early this season that Denver would be one of the 6 or 7 toughest teams in the league, this is exactly what he was talking about. This game showed exactly why Sean Payton said from the start that this Broncos team has what it takes to make a Super Bowl run. Everything about this matchup proved it: the discipline, the focus, the toughness. Think about the circumstances. Denver just played on Monday Night Football, had barely 6 days of rest, jumped on a plane, flew halfway across the country, and kicked off an early 11 a.m. game in brutal humidity, against one of the loudest, most hostile crowds in football. And yet, they didn't back down for a second. For Broncos fans, this wasn't just another win, it was one of those rare, proud moments you'll remember for years. There were flashes in this game that showed what this offense is truly capable of. Remember, the Philadelphia Eagles defense is no joke. They're physical, disciplined, and led by one of the smartest defensive minds in football. But in that fourth quarter, Bo Nix showed the world who he really is. Facing constant pressure, he stood tall. Against a Vic Fangio-style defense, known for forcing mistakes, Bo was nearly perfect: 9 of 10 passing, 126 yards, 3 straight scoring drives, and a touchdown. No sophomore slump here. Bo Nix was calm, fearless, and surgical. He played most of that game down 2 scores, reading 2 high safety looks, and still found ways to beat them, over and over again. And then came one of the highlights of the season, that bootleg play. It's becoming unstoppable. You can see Payton's offense clicking into place right there. And what about Evan Engram? That catch, that effort, pure heart. Most tight ends would have gone down inside the 10, but not him. He fought through contact, pushed past defenders, and powered into the end zone for his first touchdown as a Denver Bronco. Moments like that, that's what this new era is all about. Grit. Belief. Execution. That back injury? It's real, but Evan Engram is only getting stronger. This game gave us the clearest glimpse yet of what he can bring to Sean Payton's offense. And if this performance was any indication, he's just getting started. Against one of the toughest defenses in the league, Engram looked confident, explosive, and in complete control. What stood out most wasn't just his athleticism, it was his attitude. He's not chasing headlines or complaining about touches. He's focused, humble, and all about the team. When his number is called, he delivers, and this time, he delivered with a touchdown that electrified the field. That's what leadership looks like. And speaking of leadership, how about Sean Payton's killer instinct? Late in the game, he didn't pull back or play it safe. He went straight for the throat. That's the mentality Broncos fans have been waiting to see again, that fearless, go-for-it edge that says we're not here to hang on, we're here to dominate. Bo Nix kept proving why he's the perfect fit for this system. Every rollout, every read, every decision, it showed how far he's come. He's mobile, smart, and patient enough to wait for the perfect opening. When he rolls right, defenses panic. He can either run it himself or pick apart the mismatches Payton designs. And that's what's so exciting, this offense is evolving. You've got players who weren't even on the roster 2 years ago now making huge contributions, thriving in space, and perfectly fitting into Payton's vision. This isn't just a good offense, it's a system being built to last. Every snap feels like another brick in the foundation of something truly special in Denver. That's the beauty of Sean Payton's offense, it's not rigid, it's reactive. He doesn't force a system on a defense, he molds it, bends it, and turns it into a weapon designed to expose weaknesses. That's what makes him elite. In this game, he showed every bit of that mastery. He outcoached, outsmarted, and outclassed one of the NFL's toughest teams. Payton's ability to adapt on the fly, to counter every defensive look, was straight out of the playbook of legends. It's no wonder he's now surpassed his mentor Bill Parcells in career wins, and he did it in vintage Payton fashion, aggressive, confident, and brilliant. But this story isn't just about the offense, it's also about a defense that's playing out of its mind. Let's give the Denver Broncos defense the love it deserves. This group is special, the kind of unit that defines seasons. They just faced one of the most dangerous offenses in football, Saquon Barkley, still one of the best running backs in the league, Jalen Hurts, a proven top 5 quarterback, and a deadly receiving duo in Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. And yet, Denver's defense completely shut them down. They held that explosive offense to just 17 points, and even that came with a few questionable calls from the refs. The Broncos didn't just beat the Eagles, they out-eagled the Eagles. 10 of their 14 quarterback pressures and 5 of their 6 sacks came with just 4 or 5 pass rushers. That's elite efficiency. The last time we saw numbers like that? Last year's Super Bowl, when Patrick Mahomes got sacked 6 times under the same kind of relentless 4-man pressure. This time, it was Denver dishing out that punishment. Defensive coordinator Vance Joseph deserves massive credit for this masterpiece. He called one of the best defensive games of his career. And honestly, if this continues, it wouldn't be surprising to see him land another head coaching job soon. What he's built here is remarkable, a defense with only 1 first-round draft pick, Pat Certain too, leading a group that plays with heart, discipline, and swagger. From Jonathan Cooper's opening deflection to Nick Bonitto's relentless energy off the edge, this defense is fearless. They play with attitude, with pride, and with the belief that every snap is a chance to make a statement. This isn't just a defense holding the line, it's a defense that's setting the tone for the entire Denver Broncos franchise. 3rd and 15. Down 2 touchdowns. Most teams fold in that situation. Most players slow down, hang their heads, and wait for the final whistle. But not this Denver Broncos team. Even with the odds stacked against them, they kept fighting, every snap, every play, every inch. And the numbers prove it. Saquon Barkley, one of the most explosive backs in football, was held to just 30 rushing yards. That's domination. That's defense built on pride and power. All off-season, everyone questioned Denver's ability to stop the run, especially with matchups ahead against players like Austin Ekeler and the Chargers. But this game? It shut all that noise down. The Eagles didn't even try to run the ball. They knew better. Then came the moment that defined the night. 3rd and long. Nick Bonitto explodes off the edge, refuses to quit, and brings pure chaos to the backfield. That single play flipped the entire momentum. And the celebration, dropping that iconic, "Fly, Eagles, fly," taunt right there in Philly, that was swagger at its finest. The crowd was furious, but the message was clear: Denver came to dominate. Since the start of last season, Benito has racked up 20.5 sacks, the most in the entire NFL. Think about that, more than Micah Parsons, more than the so-called elite rushers everyone talks about. And the best part? Denver already locked him into a long-term deal that feels like an absolute steal. He's not just a rising star, he's the engine of this defense. A relentless force built in the mold of Von Miller, chasing records, chasing greatness, and bringing that mile-high energy back to life. And to top it off, Sean Payton has built a culture that travels. Wherever the Broncos go, they bring the energy, the unity, and that signature post-game swagger. The locker room is alive again. You can feel it, that brotherhood, that confidence, that belief. This team isn't just winning games. They're rebuilding a legacy. When this team celebrates, you can feel it. Sean Payton has created something special, a culture so alive, so loud, that even the opposing locker room can hear the celebration and think, man, I wish I was a Denver Bronco. That's what this new era is all about: energy, pride, and a brotherhood that refuses to quit. Payton said it himself, this is one of the few teams he's coached that never gives up, no matter how far they're down. And this game proved it beyond any doubt. When Saquon Barkley scored early in the second half, social media exploded, fans doubting, critics celebrating, people ready to count Denver out again. But the players? They stayed locked in. Calm. Focused. Hungry. Because culture beats talent and strategy every time. And the Broncos' culture right now? It's winning. Think about this. In the long history of the Denver Broncos, the team was 1-112 when trailing by 14 points entering the fourth quarter. Bo Nix and Sean Payton looked at that record and said, not anymore. And they went out and broke it. They've shattered streaks all season, the drought of losing seasons, the wait to reach the playoffs, the struggle to win tough road games like Buffalo, and now, ending a 39-year curse in Philadelphia. Every step of the way, this team keeps proving that the past doesn't define them, their heart does. Sure, there were questionable penalties, calls that didn't go their way, and even some frustrated Eagles fans crying foul at the end. But here's the truth: great teams don't make excuses, they rise above them. That's exactly what the Denver Broncos did. They didn't just survive adversity, they rewrote history in front of everyone watching. This team isn't lucky. They're built different. Let's talk about those questionable calls, because they mattered. On that so-called intentional grounding, Bo Nix had 2 eligible receivers in the area, and even the rules analyst confirmed it. Yet somehow, the flag stayed. Meanwhile, on the Eagles' touchdown to A.J. Brown, the coverage by Pat Certain 2 was nearly perfect, minimal contact, nothing illegal, and it still went uncalled. Then, just before halftime, Marvin Mims Jr. took a clear forearm to the chest that knocked him completely off his route. The defender wasn't even looking back for the ball, and what happened? The refs threw the flag, only to pick it up moments later. That play alone could have put Denver in easy field goal range, maybe even set up another touchdown before halftime. Add that to Courtland Sutton's early drop, and you realize, this game could have been an even bigger blowout than it already was. The truth is simple: the Denver Broncos are here, and they're here to stay. Look ahead at the schedule. What game honestly makes you nervous after watching this performance? Next up, the New York Jets, winless and traveling to London with a rookie head coach? Not worried. Then the Giants with a rookie quarterback? Not worried. Even the Cowboys, with a shaky defense? Bring it on. The Broncos don't see obstacles anymore, they see opportunities. And when November rolls around and Kansas City shows up, you better believe Sean Payton and Bo Nix will be ready. We've got the winningest coach in NFL history during the month of October, and he's just getting this team rolling. The chemistry, the fire, the belief, it's all clicking at once. This wasn't supposed to happen. Nobody believed Denver could pull off this win. But here we are. The Broncos just silenced the doubters, and now the entire league has to take notice. Broncos Country, our future is brighter than ever. If you haven't jumped on the bandwagon yet, this is your moment. Because this team, this energy, this belief. It's real. It's happening. And the ball never lies.